for all beings to be free. Free of the constriction and contraction of held belief systems and thought patterns. Free of the automatic reactivity of learned and held emotional patterns. And free of the isolation and suffering of distorted perceptions. I will always go for refuge to a live, vibrant, radiant, spacious awareness until awareness is ongoing, like the flow of a river. Enthused by wisdom and compassion, today in the presence of all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, of any lineage or none, and any time or beyond time, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all beings. As long as space remains, as long as beings remain, may I manifest in such a way to ease and dispel the miseries in the universe. And I think I promised or said that we would do a very traditional Chenrezig this week. Oops. But that's actually, it will be Chenrezig, but probably not absolutely traditional. Whatever that word means. If there are, how many? 84,000 different teachings? Probably, maybe there's actually 84,000 different pointings at Chenrezig. Anyway, this is what's arising this morning, and you all are generally very good sports about wherever we wander. And it occurred to me this morning, actually in a mini retreat up in the wild canyon where I have a little tiny house. And I was wondering what to do for the retreat. And then it just arose. Can't explain it, can't put it into words very well. But here's how it would come out today, I think. Many of us have patterns, maybe for lifetimes. I don't know about that so much. Maybe through genetics, don't know about that so much. Maybe through the experiences of this life. And at least in my experience, those patterns are very hard to see. And it's also very hard, unless you happen to be lucky and go whoop and fall away from all of them, unusual, to allow them to change. They become so much a part of who we are, who we see ourselves as, that we actually end up, and I hope everybody's noticed this a little bit, we end up holding on to them. When they might be able to unravel. And the easiest way maybe to see this, one of the easiest ways, is to Notice that we're in Chenrezig, who is the symbol of absolute open-hearted, open-minded, unconditional, unlimited in any way, love, joy, life. They are the symbol of, because Chenrezig is not gender specific, arises in female form in some cultures, in male form in some cultures. And I think he's they are one of the, not good with this, one of the only yidams that does not have a yabyum form, male-female co-joined form, like Kuntuzan Po, Kuntuzan Mo. Because if you look at the images of Chenrezig, they are very open. So what are we looking for when we come into Chenrezig? And I've spent some time with this. If we start to realize experientially that we arose from generations and generations and generations of beings, all the way back to whatever you imagine started life, the Big Bang, which would mean in some ways we're all a little piece of stardust. And all those generations had experiences. And all those generations made stories and developed patterns around those experiences. And when we can start to rest in we stay in time, the longevity of that, there can be a relaxation of trying to fix or change whatever happened in our experience. So today, going into a new year, although that really has little to do with I don't know why this came up. I'd like us to visit Chenrezig in maybe a little different way. I'd like us to imagine and this may be hard for some of us, and it may not be the right time for all of us to try this. So feel free to, as I hope you always do, to leave or just sit without the volume on, without the words. Imagine that you came from generations, perhaps, of loving beings. If we haven't had the experience of being loved, however we may have felt it, it's pretty difficult to rest into that experience. Imagine for a moment that we all come from a lineage, generations of beings that did experience love from the very beginning of their life and before, treasured as a baby in the womb. Met with great joy when we were born, cherished, supported, encouraged, and held as we started to have experiences, learn language, try new things. We can imagine this in many different ways. Perhaps as I think I'd have to leave it in your own imagination to try to rest here. Could have an image of, we could call Chenrezig, but if that is not an image that gives you or lets you rest into that sensation of being loved beyond any limitation, perhaps today we can all rest into what that experience might feel like. There would not be a sense of what so many of us carry, not being good enough. There would be a sense of being a gift of joy to those who loved us, a warm bond that will extend beyond time. Our forms come and go. All form comes and goes. But the connection of that deep bond of love does not leave. There is not a sense of chasing or looking for something outside of us that will make us feel loved and cared for. Just a deep sense that we are. We imagine together how different our world would be. And for a moment, let that sense absolutely fill us. No need to demand that anybody be other than they are. A sense of fullness, maybe even completeness. We may have moments of a feeling like that, a sense of that, a waft of that. And in that sense, for a moment, at least, we might have an incredible sense of caring, maybe sadness for all the beings who have never experienced sensation of being absolutely cared for and loved. The sensation of being a gift, not a burden. We may wish with all our heart to offer this sensation to all beings. Lost in the endless search to find the connection, the bond. The words aren't great, of knowing unlimited love. As we do that, we may visualize that love as light, a light that can shine through all the stories, all the sense of emptiness, lack, loneliness. No bond, no connection. A light that can shine through that so brightly that false construction of reality can melt away. We may experience that as a sense of light shining through. And we can let that light, let it, not make it, simply let it extend out into the universe, touching all beings. You can start with 1,000 beings. And as that light shines through all the bilblah, all the pain and loneliness that so many of us humans hold, those 1,000 beings can experience what we can't describe. Connection, radiance, They're just words. And they can awake from the chains, constrictions of their stories and patterns and drop away. And the natural light within all beings, for now those 1,000 beings, can shine forth, touching 1,000,000 beings, 1,000,000,000 beings. Maybe we'll experience it as almost a sense of touch. Really hard to describe. As though we're in a swirling, endless stream, unlimited, unbounded, of connection, openness. No words touch that. Right there, part of everything. Part of everything within that we perceive as within, without. Right. Rest again in that sensation of openness. Sensation of what life is. Beyond the constriction, beyond the isolation of the Bilbah thoughts, feelings, and perceptions that separates us from all beings. And again, there may be a sense of heart opening, watching, perceiving, experiencing all the beings suffering from that sense of isolation and loneliness. Not recognizing this connectedness of all life beyond the word love. We can rest in this indescribable connection. That we are a part of. And in this connectedness, there is sadness, not pity, compassion of all life for life that does not recognize this connectedness. And a deep wish that all beings be able, have the constriction of patterns dissolve and drop away, so that all beings can experience this open interconnectedness. Instead of what we so often see, all of us bouncing off of each other, not from our inner heart connectedness, from our protective shell. We can recognize that this interconnectedness has always been present. Oh, all the shells or masks or bilblas, whatever you want to call them, are different and cause an exceeding amount of suffering. You may have a sense that the only action, doing, that needs or could occur is one of allowing that essence of interconnected life, radiance, whatever words don't reach, to be as it is. Beyond protectiveness. Always present. And while that can be masked, hidden in a bilblah of confusion, cannot be destroyed. Once recognized, again and again. We awaken beyond the limitations of our patterns. We rest fully as what we actually are. We realize beyond words the emptiness, if you will, of all of our thoughts, feelings, and perceptions based on the original distorted perception that we are in some way separate. This I being from everything else. And we are free. Within the experiential realization, which we may get close to and turn around and run, within the experiential realization of that interconnectedness of all life, there is no thing to protect. There's only a great opening of light, and all beings trapped in that isolated, lonely shell what would hurt us, and recognizing truly recognizing the actions that are arising from confusion and ignorance, misunderstanding, misperception. We may, each of us in our own way, need to find an image or a symbol where we can rest beyond the patterns, beyond the confusions, beyond the desperate search for what has never been separate for an instant. And we imagine together that has happened for all of us. And in some way, make a commitment to keep going until there is no doubt, no fear, no doubt. To make a commitment to allow this bilbla, mask, form, whatever we want to call it, of confusion to fall away for the sake of all beings. The true Bodhisattva is no thing other than this. The experiential realization of the interconnected interdependence, meaning no thing ever arises individually or independently of all beings. Not our personalities, not our hopes and fears, whatever commitment we choose, not with a sense of should or I'll be a good person, none of that. Simply the commitment to allow what we hold on to so tightly that defines who we think we are, or fear we are, or hope we are, to in its own time, in its own way, fall away till there is no thing but the essence of what there's no word for. And we let the essence of what's named Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, saints, lots of different names, which we all are. We just don't recognize it. Can we let those who have recognized, not all in the past, not all right here, right now, not all in the future, actually, all right here, right now, in this moment, beyond past, present, and future. Can we lean into however we perceive, experience that? Are we ready to step beyond? Can we let go? At least for a second, before we run screaming and grab on again. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Whoa, who am I? Where am I? Oh my gosh. Some of us quickly, some of us lifetimes. No thing to understand beyond understanding. Right here, fresh and every. How can I grab interconnectedness? How could I even recognize it when I was desperately grabbing for it? Ah, the irony of having to let go to be free. Knowing that letting go feels as though, I don't know, does not feel comforting. We are all this together. Today, as we spend this time together, what occurs, what arises, what is shared between us is us in this moment. I think I'm out of words for today, but I'm incredibly grateful that we get to spend this time together and that you come and share it with everyone. If it, whatever it is, life seems confusing, may we keep walking together. It seems lonely, may we keep walking together. When it seems unbearable, may we remember and keep walking together. When it seems joyous, may we keep walking together. When it seems beyond joy and happiness, simply pure love, may we keep walking together till we're all free. I love you, and I will see you next time we get together.